Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next session of From Nothing, Lorna's story. It is the evening at the Lakeside Inn in Siren's Respite, Aurelia. Your time is yours, Lorna. What are you doing?
Well, I think I guess she's the leader of this group.
Yes,
So
she is.
she's got like a drink that she's been dipping at since she got back from the store. And she's kind of just taking like a physical and emotional assessment of her party members to see how they're getting on. She already knows that there's kind of a little spat between Nore and Sierra, so she's trying to gauge all of her teammates and see
Okay.
where they're at without directly asking.
Roll me. Well, roll me an insight check.
Okay. I have the wrong character up.
Well,
Sorry, let me change the character sheet. Do I have to use that roll?
you do, I'm afraid.
Why are you like this? Why am I like this?
You rolled the die. What is the bonus with Lorna?
It's, I think, one less.
So you rolled a
So,
10.
yes.
Okay.
So, nothing.
Well, you get that Anscombe seems to be a little apprehensive. He's looking around the inn a lot. Uh, his eyes are not lingering too long on any single individual. But you do get the impression that he's maybe a little nervous. But considering the history here, that's understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Lilith is drinking. She's what's the word I'm looking for? Not absent-minded, but it seems as though she's just passing time.
Mm-hmm.
She's chilling. She doesn't seem too worried. Perhaps she's not the sort of person who lets anxieties like that ruin a good drink.
Good for her.
The rest of your group are unreadable.
Yeah, far to passing my stupid natural one great start to the game. Idly, Lorna is thinking, I want to talk to Pierre, but she doesn't think that this is the time or the place. So she is kind of piecing together a little plan, and she is going to use her arcane recovery
Mm-hmm.
to accomplish this plan. A combined, okay, I can, if I rest for an hour, I can reach a combined level of third level, so I will get a third level back,
Okay.
which is fantastic. That's exactly what I want. And so she has a little plan in mind later in the evening, probably when people are heading to bed. But if nothing happens, he's not, having conversations that I feel like I need to
Well,
roleplay.
let's see here. As I am rolling, let's see what might turn up.
Oh boy.
Hold on a second. Okay. You see. Well, your insight was really poor, and it might be
There was.
because you're a little distracted. Um, in the far corner of the room, you see an old, weathered fisherman. A human man with gray hair that's balding over the top. And you only know that because he's taken off the wide, very weathered, like suede hat that he set on the table in front of him. This human looks maybe 70 years old. He's been around for a while. And you see, with your sharp passive perception, he's muttering. His mouth is moving. His face looks a little, looks frightened. Like he looks like
Uh-huh.
he can't let go of something that's scared him.
Is he looking in a particular direction?
He's not, like, focused on
He's got like
anything.
does he have a glazed look, like he's just kind of middle distance?
He looks like he's in his own memories.
Uh-huh. Well, that's none of my business.
Okay.
Lorna would like clock him, acknowledge that he's acting a little odd, and note that he, if he does something further, like he gets up, or if he moves around, or if he starts addressing someone, she's gonna pay more attention to that. But otherwise, it's just like this old guy. Maybe he's just senile.
So what do? You just
she,
wait?
she just, yeah, she goes about her
Okay.
casual business, talking to her friends, drinking.
Okay.
I like the way
Suddenly,
you said that. Oh, awesome. Good sign. Good sign.
it's like a few minutes. You see this man who looks frightened and lost in his own thoughts suddenly stand up abruptly, sharp enough that the table away from him. Uh, he looks like he's looking a very specific direction, and then
Uh-huh.
he not runs, but it's clearly hastily moves to leave the tower.
Okay, Lorna's gonna look at where he's looking, and her eyes are gonna flash gold, and she's going to look with her special eyes, her detect magic invocation.
Roll an Arcana check.
22.
Detect magic lets you see when there are spells on things. However, there is an effect in the air ahead of this individual. It looks as though, if you could imagine your fingers passing through a curtain of water, the shape of where you passed through that curtain of water, you see that in front of him in the air.
Is it shaped like anything in particular?
It's really hard to tell because this is not what the spell is designed for.
Do I get a
Um,
school of magic?
it is not a spell. It is a magical effect that you're witnessing. You
Uh-huh.
expect the rules that govern this effect that you're seeing would fall under conjuration.
Uh, Lorna sighs. She was holding this third level for later. This spell magic, whatever that is, be gone.
Nothing happens.
Did I use my spell slot?
You cast Dispel Magic,
Son of a bitch!
nothing happens.
God damn it. Alright, Lorna feels uncomfortable. She stands up. Who's the closest of her friends near her?
Anscombe and Skull on the other
She,
side.
she looks at them and leans in and says, "There's something happening, but I don't know. That old man just ran, and there's some sort of magic happening."
Anscombe turns around and looks, and then he looks up at you. You see magic? That's just old man Arlo. He's crazy.
Has he always been like that?
He turns and looks again, and I'm going to roll an insight check for Anscombe. Okay, maybe not quite like that.
He sees something,
Is
and I
it?
do too, but I'm not sure what.
What does it look like?
I, it's hard to describe. Even the DM couldn't really describe it to me. Lorna is
What does
going
that mean?
to.
I'm sure he did his
she's,
best.
she's gonna like stand up, look at that. Does she, like, detect magic at will? Does she still see whatever?
So he's left the tavern at this point, and
Uh-huh.
what he saw is also gone. It was moving. It was like he was following this thing
He was
floating in the air
following
in
it.
front
I
of
see,
him.
I see. Hmm. He kind of goes over to where he was sitting and kind of just cursory
Roll
inspection. Anything
perception.
weird happening here? Ooh, 25. Almost as good as it could be.
You pass over into this area, and as you do, right as you're walking by the booth that he shoved backward, he like shoved the table, you pass through a sensation of extreme cold.
Uh, does it linger or is it like gone?
Once you're in this space behind the booth, it's still here. It's freezing.
Anything in my many years of study that could explain what kind of phenomena I'm experiencing?
Roll Arcana.
Oh, yes. Yes. 26.
Localized cold like this, where it's literally like you one step and it's suddenly freezing air. There's only a couple things that come to mind.
Hmm.
Neither of them good. The first one that comes to mind is you've entered the domain around a white dragon's lair, which this doesn't
Probably
sound
not that.
quite like that. The other is you have entered the space already occupied by a ghost.
Uh, Lorna will say, uh, sorry, step back out of that space.
As soon as you step backward, it suddenly is just as warm as the rest of the tower.
She'll go back to her table with Anscombe and Skolna and just sit down.
You
Hey,
okay?
is this place haunted?
Anscombe furrows his brow and he says, no more than any other place, I think. Why?
She looks back at the booth. I think there either was a ghost there or is a ghost there.
Anscombe like turns and looks at that booth. Empty, dark corner of the tavern. No one's near there. And he says, I mean, are you fucking with me? Like, yeah, it's a dark
No,
corner.
I'm genuinely serious. I think whoever that old man was, I think he's haunted by a ghost.
Oh. Uh, that's a little saddening.
He should probably see some sort of priest.
Well, probably. I feel like I should explain. Um,
Sure.
I never. Old man Arlo's been in Siren's Respite for forever, as far as I know. Um, he's always been odd, a little weird, a little difficult to get along with. Um, he was one of the few people that would let me haul fish for him for coin when I was at my worst. But that didn't stop me from. All right, he got ridiculed a lot, or I ridiculed him a lot, as did a few of the other younger folk around the town. Because I mean, we all thought he was a crazy old man, right? Like he told stories about ghosts and spirits that would say things to him, crazy things, um, like how there were monsters beneath his house, and they controlled them, except they wanted him to make them clothes. I don't remember the details. But
Uh-huh.
okay. The story goes, Old Man Arlo was just a fisherman here, would go out on Siren's Lagoon. He never did the ritual like my pa did, or my uncle, you know what I'm saying. My pa did, but he would just fish. And there were some newcomers in town who he agreed to take them out on the lake. And there was a storm that just came upon them while they were on the lake. No one saw it coming, and that storm killed everyone that was on the boat with him, but not him. He tells the story like bolts of lightning came down and chose every single person on his ship but him. And since then, he's been saying these tales of spirits claiming it should have been him, and since it wasn't, they need him to do things for them as if they were still alive, such as make them clothes.
Uh-huh.
We all thought he was batshit, but if you're telling me there is a ghost that he saw, like, are you sure? How do you know?
Um, the symptoms are there, as far as I can tell.
Okay. Well, see, if he's been telling the truth all these years, and he was truly haunted, and we are just actually terrible people, that's just another thing I feel awful about.
We could, I mean, Mira, the cleric of Melisandre here, we could tell her and she might be able to do something about it.
I mean, I'm sure she's been told, but if he doesn't want or will not accept the help, he's not the sort of person that takes a handout.
Or maybe this is something he thinks is his penance.
Which, why would it be unless something happened?
Right. I don't know, that's just what I got from that.
It makes me nervous, and also feel like a real monster.
She'll pat his back.
I, you remember I keep telling you I wasn't a good person, right?
You've mentioned it.
Yeah, that's just another symptom.
Maybe
Skolna
he'll find you
shoves
someday.
Skolna shoves him her ale.
Aw.
Thanks. And I mean, do you think we could talk to Mir about it? See if we can get him some unwanted help?
Uh, I mean, we can try. She seems capable, which means I feel like she'd be able to detect the presence of a ghost. And if he's been here as long as he said he's been, he's not done something for a while, potentially for a reason. I don't know if it's a good one. Like maybe she just didn't want to help, which doesn't seem likely because Melisandre. Or maybe she tried and he rejected it, but I don't. And she's heard tale that he's been haunted. I don't think that's something she could let go without having pursued at some point,
I mean,
right?
everybody in town knows when Arlo talks about seeing ghosts. It's not.
Right. So the likelihood that she's done nothing about this is very slim. And the reason he's still possessed is because he refused help.
Right.
So I don't think we'll be bringing her any news by saying, yes, there's definitely ghosts. I'm sure she already knows that. Or she's not a cleric worth her salt.
She's definitely potent, so I wouldn't say that in
Oh, I know.
earshot.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
She uncursed my Sphinx's truth, which I'm incredibly grateful for, even though I had to pay for it.
Did you? Yeah, of course you had to. All right. It's not important.
Mhm.
What's
I'm just saying she knows. I'm
Okay.
sure she does.
I'd like.
Logically.
I would like to in the morning, if we could, maybe go talk to her and see if she has anything to say on it. If that's all
Sure.
right.
That will make you feel better. We can do that.
It feels like the least of penances for all my shit.
And I'll go with you.
All right. Fuck. He just takes another drink of the ale.
Golden Ale.
Yeah. So that happened,
Mm-hmm.
and you did waste a third level spell slot.
I did. I'm mad about it.
Well,
Ah.
what do you do?
She is going to. Okay. She is going to pull out, like, rip a corner, piece of parchment from her book or her notebook, her spell book or whatever book.
Okay.
And she's going to write down a little note. And it is going to say Lakeside Inn rooftop, midnight. And she is going to mage hand it into Tier's pocket.
Roll me a sleight
Can I
of
do it
hand check.
sneaky? Can I? Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be so bad. Oh my god, a natural one for two. He feels it like tugging on his coat, trying
Yeah,
to get into his
you like
pocket.
miss the pocket with the mage hand, and he just goes like
He looks
turns
over
and
at her.
looks at.
She just covers her face with her hands because she's like, "Ah, I'm such a fuck up."
He literally just smiles and pinches the bridge of his nose and does not turn to look at what's happening in his pocket.
He just accepts that this is happening.
Yeah.
Lorna's trying to be sneaky. It's embarrassing.
Yeah. Boy, that goes poorly. You stuff that note in Tier's pocket.
Hmm.
As it happens, like a couple copper coins just ting ting out of the pocket onto the floor.
Oops.
Tier looks down. He's, oh, yeah, and he leans over and picks them up. Uh,
It's just, she puts her head on the table.
yeah. Everyone noticed something happened. Nobody knows exactly what, but
Oh,
yeah, that didn't
vouch,
go
that's
well.
embarrassing.
Next,
I
you.
looked at my spells just now. I was hoping, like, if I'd found message in my spell slots or like my spell list, I'd be so mad at myself. But I don't. I don't know message for some reason.
You hear quietly in your ear. Leave that to me.
Yeah. Oh, I should have had you do it.
Skolna just looks at you, very flat face.
I'll remember that for next time.
She just pats you on the hand and then goes to get another drink.
Oh.
Okay, well, you deliver the note. It doesn't go well.
Well, I mean, he accepted it at the very least.
I mean, there's not
His
really
stuff is
anything he can
very
do.
subtle. Yeah. It's
Your
just like,
mage hand is
okay, this is
stuffing it into his
happening.
pocket. He's like, all right.
Typical Lorna behavior.
So, what's
Hmm.
next for Lorna this evening at the Lakeside Inn?
Other than waiting for midnight, he doesn't have a plan.
Yeah, you can just pass the time if you want. We can just fast
Hmm.
forward a bit.
Hmm.
So, we push forward in the evening to, well, midnight.
Well, she'll go before midnight, obviously, to be there at midnight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she might even go like 15 minutes early. So she can just sit up there.
Okay. 15 minutes early at midnight.
Yeah.
You head to a secret location, the roof.
Yeah.
Uh,
She's good at this.
Siren's Respite is not like Ferrum or Iron Gate or Augur City or any other city you've been in at night. It is so quiet. It is quiet and mysterious, and there's just enough people that live here that the wildlife that would typically be like right outside the walls, they're too far. So it is almost oppressively quiet. But the night sky spreads out above you, and without the light pollution of the various oil lamps or lanterns, you see the cosmos on a clear night, the light before you, and it is impossible not to feel just a little small looking up at all the stars and gases spread across the night sky. Roll me a perception check.
Okay. Uh, 14.
On a clear night such as this, you see like a silver thread spreading across all of the night sky, winding with spirals and coils, reaching from one horizon all the way to the next. A single line that crosses the night sky. As you
Is that
watch
weird
it,
to me?
roll me a religion check.
Okay. 19.
You don't know where you heard it, maybe a bard's tale or a bard's story, but you think tonight might be clear enough that you can see Aegir, the cosmic serpent.
Oh, he must be big.
Yes,
Oh.
like a single thread crossing the entire night sky.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
You watch as the coils and loops in that thread slowly move, as if unwinding and winding themselves. And then you hear, "All right, what's this about?" As you hear TR climbing up onto the roof.
She'll look at him and say, "How did you know it was me?"
I don't know. Just that ranger's intuition, I suppose.
Oh man,
It's always a
you're
skill of
good.
mine, eh? Yep. He sits down next to you.
Just as he's sitting, can she gauge his feelings? Hopefully,
Roll an
I'll
insight
roll
check.
better than a fucking 1 this time. Ugh. Natural 20. Just needed to get him alone. 29 total.
He seems apprehensive. He seems like he might be worried about what you're going to talk to him about.
Uh-huh. So she'll pat, like she's sitting, is it like a thatched roof? Is it a tile roof?
It's a tile roof.
Okay. Well, she has a spot that she's been sitting in for a couple minutes now, and she'll pat the spot next to her.
Okay. Not right out with it then. And he does go and sit close to where you like he's propping himself up on like one of the peaks from a window from the roof. And so, what'd you need?
I had a couple questions.
You just needed a moment from Tall, Green, and Handsome?
Sometimes I like short and pink too.
Weird.
She looks at him. You think that's weird?
I'm not that short. So clearly you're not talking about me.
Right. There's kind of like a beat where she just kind of smiles at their usual nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
And then when like the silence flows a bit, she looks at him and she says, do you ever think about your parents?
He blinks. I think I don't look much like him. You know, speaking of short.
I was just kind of wondering about them. Like
My
how
parents.
you how you came into their care.
Oh. Um. Well, they told me that. I mean, obviously, they're not my parents. I don't know who my real parents are. They told me I was left with them, on the doorstep, uh, in a bread basket with muffins in it.
What kind?
Is that the important part? Rose water, I think, is what they said.
Oh, pink. That makes sense.
Hmm. It's always grown like that. Everyone thinks I always make that up, but it comes out that way everywhere,
No, it
as you
suits
know.
you. Yes. You as a baby, though, that's what we're focusing on.
Mm-hmm.
You were in a breadbasket on a doorstep
Yeah.
with
Yeah, it
muffins.
was. No, nope. Just left there. And I mean, I guess if you're gonna leave a baby on anyone's doorstep, acolytes or Tinder is not a bad place to do it.
So it wasn't like your parents' home. It was a temple.
No, it was their home.
They just also happened to be acolytes of
Right,
Tinder.
yeah. Aye. Why are you asking?
I was just,
This is just a weird thing to call someone out at midnight to a
well,
rooftop.
I mean, do I need a reason to talk to you?
No. Just typically, these sorts of conversations are always the personal and hard to conversate about ones. You know, the sort of things you don't want other people around.
Well,
There's more to
I
it
mean,
than that, isn't there?
I mean, maybe I was thinking about my parents too, or lack thereof. I don't think I ever really came to terms with the fact that I don't really have parents. Like, you were raised by people who weren't, you put the quotes, weren't your parents, but they became your parents. But you have presumably blood parents out there somewhere,
Oh, somewhere.
or they were at some point. But
And I know at least one of them has long pointy ears.
I just, the thought occurred to me that I wasn't born like a normal person. I was made like someone who makes a piece of clothing to put on.
No.
I wasn't supposed to be like this.
Who says?
The natural order.
Oh, yeah, where's that written down?
She kind of looks up and like her eyes trace that silver line that is a gear. And she says, I think it's written somewhere in the stars.
I think it's wrong. No one makes the rules about these sort of things. A life is a life, okay? And just because you were created in a way that not everyone else is, that doesn't make you any less of a person, and it doesn't make you any less important. You're completely unique, and the fact that you can't seem to see that is a little bit silly.
It's funny that you said completely unique when I'm the exact copy of someone.
Are you?
She kind of looks down at herself to take stock of her features, and then her eyes kind of land on her hand. And then she remembers her face and realizes that she looks a lot different than she did a year ago. Said, well, I used to be
Did
the
you?
exact copy of someone.
We are who we choose to be. What you've chosen is not the same thing as what your predecessor chose, now is it?
I guess not.
That's what matters. It's your choices. Like you've chosen some of the best company around the tavern tonight. And he, like, plays with his shirt.
And your parents chose you.
Well, they chose not to leave me for someone else to deal with. So they say. I don't know how many times I got passed around. It could have just been a story, you know?
Did you believe them?
I like to think that they liked me enough. Or they thought I was odd enough that I would fit right in with the rest of them.
Did you?
No. I ended up turning to piracy, if you recall. Things did not exactly go smoothly for old little Tier.
Well, but that's not like you left your family to be a pirate.
No, I did not.
So I don't think that is quite what I mean.
I wish I knew why what happened to him happened. I wish I knew why that had happened. But some things are out of our control. Some things are out of the gods' control. I had a
That's a scary
vision.
thought.
Yeah, I had a vision when that all happened.
When you were sick?
When I was sick and they died. I didn't know if it was a hallucination or not, but Tinger came to me, or one of her avatars did, or whatever those. You know, I mean, I had a vision where she just gave me a hug. And she told me that she was sorry. And that I should never let anything like that change me. And only let the things that I wanted to change me. I didn't know what that
Did
meant.
Do you still not know?
I think I've figured it out now. Like, I mean, if we let everything that happens to us scar us and change us forever, we are what the world wants us to be. But if we choose the events, the nightmares and the miracles and such, if we choose the ones to affect us, then we are who we choose to be. I've kind of tried to live by that ever since it happened. That's why I don't, let myself drown as an emotional wreck every time I think about my old folks with their blood burning up.
Lorna kind of grimaces.
It's the right choice of word, isn't it? I only had take it so lightly because I felt what it was like, and it was not pleasant.
So you've come to terms with what's happened in the past.
I've accepted it. Alright. There's nothing I could do about it except move on. Accept that that happened and, try and use that to grow. And if I don't, I go crazy.
It's already begun.
Oh shit, has it? Did I do anything stupid?
I don't know yet.
I don't like how you said that. Do you know something I don't know?
She kind of gives him like a
Sorry, the
half
obvious.
smile, and she says, "How are you right now? How are you feeling?"
Roll a persuasion check.
Oh yeah, 27.
Tierra considers your question as he looks up at the night sky. I've been better. I messed things up with Norre pretty bad. We had some good banter going and, well, I fucked out.
You're pretty good with words. I find it hard to believe you fucked that up.
I mean, I put my foot in my mouth just as much as anybody else does. It's really what matters is how forgiving those that see it happen are. But Nori's very proud. And, I thought I might have seen a kindred spirit. the sort of person who can appreciate affection from all sources. So I thought maybe she might be interested in, well, spreading our relationship around. And I was wrong. It hurt her. I made her feel like she wasn't enough, or wasn't good enough. And I feel bad about it. I didn't mean to do that.
I see. Um, Speaking as someone more inclined to Nore's preference,
Uh-huh. Lay it on me, because I'm sure I'll hear it again.
it's not that how you choose to love is bad. It's just I know that fear of not being enough, the fear of feeling like that, even if maybe you didn't think of it that way.
It's not about being enough, though. It's about accepting that they have nothing to fear. They won't be replaced.
There's like an expression on Lorna's face where she's kind of thinking back on her relationship with Tier and her own feelings of fear of inadequacy in such a similar way that Nora seems to have felt when he tried to broaden their relationship. And she resonates really deeply with how Nora feels suddenly, because that's how she was worried he would feel that way. And I think Lorna reflects on the fact that this aspect of Pierre may have been the reason that they're no longer engaged, because she didn't want to feel that way. And that she felt like the only way to make sure she could stay important to Pierre was by being his best friend. So she secured that position and wouldn't risk any more than that. And that's how she's feeling while this conversation is happening.
Okay.
What do you think you're going to do about it?
I don't know. Give it time. I'm not going to push anything. I just hope that she knows that she matters to me. No matter what.
I hope she does. Know that. It matters
Yeah.
to me too.
There's a lot going on in there. You know her family fights demons, right?
Did you just learn that recently?
Yeah?
Oh. Yeah, I did know that. They're pretty cool.
I didn't really have a whole lot of chance to talk to her before, I ended up in this group with all of you. And I didn't really have any opportunity to talk to Nora one-on-one until, well, August City, really. And, yeah. There's a lot going on over there. I had no idea. I had no idea there was all this shit going on in the, what'd she call it? The Misty Veil.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of the price paid for women with baggage.
Right.
They're complicated.
It's a lot of baggage.
We all
We all have our luggage, though. So, I mean, Best you can do is find a dolly. I worry, um, I mostly worry that she thinks I never cared about her. So, I'm going to try and do what I can to really enforce that it wasn't just a fling for me. Because it's never just a fling. And it's never just respecting Tindra and her wishes or anything like that. Because that's what it always comes back to, is someone saying, well, you're a follower of Tindra, so that's all you care about. But it's nothing like that.
Were we just a plane?
I didn't think so.
I didn't either.
Well, that's a relief. I was all prepared to have my feelings hurt all over again.
She kind of puts her head on his shoulder.
He kind of like rests the temple of his head on the top of your head.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been about love. It still is about love. I love you. I love her. I love Anscombe. I'd die for any one of you idiots.
I think that's true for most of us in this group. I think the jury's still out for Lilith.
Well,
She's a little new. I think I just barely got her to like me recently, so it's kind of an uphill battle with her.
well, she's a good fighter, but I don't know if I can trust her yet. So, until I know that, until our back's against the wall, one of us is bleeding and on the ground about to die, until we're on that verge where there's a minotaur swinging a giant axe at all of us, there's no real way to know, if, who I love and who I don't. But only for her. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
All of us have put our lives on the line for each other. Just not her yet. And maybe that's not fair, but it just hasn't happened.
Does it help at all to say that I trust her?
No.
Is my judgment that bad?
No.
Okay.
I believe you put your life on the line for her. And maybe she put her life on the line for you. But for me, I don't know if she will. Can't know. Not until we get in a scrap.
I'd like to say I hope that never happens, but I know it'll probably happen.
It's gonna
next
happen.
Week.
Like,
yeah.
You don't know how many people we've got after us? That's gonna happen.
Oh, we're fucked.
I just hope nobody gets me in the face.
It's not a big detractor. She, self-consciously touches the scar on her face.
It adds character, but I won't hesitate.
It's a really nice way of saying it's ugly.
No. It adds history. Look, just because you wear scar better than I might, doesn't mean I'm a little jealous of it, okay?
Thanks for coming up here. You
Nothing.
seemed nervous.
I mean, can you blame me? You saw who I crossed, right? Her family slays demons.
Well, don't grow horns. You'll probably be fine.
He, glances at his hair and he kind of feels, and nothing yet. What about you? And all that red you got rocking, is there going to be horns sprouting out anytime soon?
I don't think so, but I feel like the kind of stuff I've been getting up to recently,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's got to leave a mark somehow. I just haven't seen it yet.
You've been making a lot of big decisions for yourself, I won't deny that. What was that about an Afriti?
I don't.
Some
Listen.
posh noble from the city of Brass?
A lot. It was really scary.
You
I
know.
think I held my own in that conversation.
I hope you're right. You know people are enslaved down there.
I mean, people are enslaved up here.
Not the same. Not quite. It's not like there are rules down there for how you treat your slaves, because there ain't.
Well, I'll have to console myself with the fact that if I ever end up enslaved by an Afridi, you're going to risk everything to save me.
I'm your best friend. If you end up enslaved by an Afriti, I'm probably
You're
enslaved right
probably
next to you.
Okay, well then we'll figure out a way to get out of that.
I'm sure
Maybe
we'll.
let's just not dwell on it.
That's for the best.
Or we'll cross that bridge when we're enslaved by it.
And just know, it will be pretty hot.
She just punches him in the arm.
Ow! You've been working on that. That was a better one. Maybe it's the porcelain hand.
Yeah, it's the... I'm gonna roll an unarmed strike.
Okay.
I rolled really well, 19.
Yeah, you hit, so it deals 1 damage.
It does. That was just like the way the porcelain plates just ding him like right on the funny bone.
I'll regret it. Okay, alright, take it back. Fuck. Pun was not worth it. I am a little jealous, though, that you got tall, green, and handsome before I could.
Kind of looked at him side-eyed. You think you had a shot?
Yeah. Look who you talking to.
She just deadpans. But she does consider, would Ansel have gone for Pierre? And
Do you
she's
say
just
that?
mulling over that. No, she's thinking it like, and it would probably be very clear on her face that she's considering it. Like, what'd that look like?
That's right. Think about it. He just like waggles eyebrows at you.
Ugh, I should go to bed.
I'm sure you should. Keep him nice and warm for me.
Oh, she dives off the roof.
You hear him laughing as you jump
Winged
down.
out. I do not hit my face on the pavement.
That's good.
I fell off one roof and died. Not again.
You hear him laughing at you the whole way.
Great. Did he, before I like depart, does he seem... How's he feeling? Does he seem like he's been cheered up? Does he still seem despondent? Does he...
Roll another insight check.
Okay. Oof, I'm rolling bombs. Good bombs. 26.
It's clear there's an edge. He's probably still anxious, but
Yeah.
you've distracted him.
Hooray. I'll take it. That's something.
So, you go back inside, you go to bed, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you do anything when you go to bed? You wake up Anscombe? Do you... Okay. Then we will proceed on to the next day. In Siren's Respite. You probably sleep in a little bit, considering your late night conversation. At about 9 o'clock in the morning, Anscombe nudges you. Hey.
Huh?
I'm gonna head over to the temple. I just wanted to see if you wanted to come still.
I said I would. She says, but her face is glum. Yes,
He pushes a mug of clava in front of you.
you're amazing.
I know.
She gets stressed.
Okay. As you head towards the Temple of Melisandre, you realize you have the entire party with you. Everybody decided to just kind of tag along.
Hi, guys.
You kind of get some fairly groggy, I don't know, just everyone's awake. Nore is wide awake as she looks around the group and she says, "What, am I the only one who got a good night's sleep last night?
Probably.
Need to drink more."
We need to drink more?
Aye, it puts you right to sleep.
Life advice from Nore. Noted.
She just kind of nods and then says, "Damn right." As you make your way to the temple, it is not far, and it is broad. The doors are wide open. You realize it is the weekend. It is Saturday. There are lots of people milling about out here. Uh, there are lots of small acolytes milling about outside the Temple of Melisandre. Um, you do spot head cleric Mira. She's actually outside the front doors having a conversation with some couple other townsfolk you've seen wandering about. And when she sees your group approaching, she just says, "Oh, good morning. How can I
Good
help
morning.
ya?
um,
Adventurers like yourselves never show up unannounced without some sort of problem or injury or something dire."
right. I'm out with it then. That older gentleman, Arlo, I believe is his name. I'm going to assume you know that he's being haunted, right?
She like looks to the people that she was talking to and she says, "I'll be right back with you, dearies." And they just kind of nod and go into the temple, and then she steps towards you, this little halfling looking up at you, and she says, "Aye, I'm aware.
Does he just not want help?
I have offered a ceremony to separate himself from them. He has turned me down."
He looks up at Anscombe like, see.
Anscombe looks at the cleric and he says, "Isn't that not, like, they should be put to rest, shouldn't they? I mean, whether he wants it or not. If he's being haunted by vengeful spirits, should they be allowed to be vengeful?" Mira kind of tilts her head and she says, "It's usually more complicated than that. Um, but mostly, the spirits might not truly be vengeful if they're not causing harm. Just existing is not enough to determine them as cursed spirits."
I mean, the psychological damage that this man seems to be experiencing on a daily basis feels like harm.
How do you mean?
He was in the tavern last night and he seemed terrified. And he fled from the building,
That's
which is how I noticed the ghost.
that's new.
So spirits that have been haunting him for decades only recently became angry with him.
Perhaps. Most I'd heard before is he would just talk about them existing. Never any evidence of actual harm. Are any of you, or any of your group, a cleric of any kind?
We have a chicken eyes here. Some of us are more devout than others, but none of us trained.
Tyr just, like, waves. Not a cleric, no. Not at all, in any way, actually. And Mira just nods and says, "All right, well, okay. Maybe I could borrow you for an afternoon."
Maybe.
Arlo spends his mornings and afternoons out on the lake fishing. Perhaps this afternoon after my sermon, if you wouldn't mind escorting me to Arlo's place and we could see if the spirits are bound to his home.
Didn't someone, Felix Anscombe, you said that he talked about them being under his house.
Yeah, I did say that. That's the story. I don't know how true it was. It was just, word of mouth. That's a good start. If y'all don't mind, just making a quick stop. If there's nothing there, well, so be it, on your way. But if there is vengeful spirits, I might need a hand dispatching them.
Well, we are Maragard mercenaries.
Is this the part where you need payment?
She grins.
I'll tell you what. If there are vengeful spirits that require dispatching, well, depending on the kind, I could promise maybe 100 gold a spirit.
Still look at the party.
Sure. Like, that's kind of the group, like, general assentment.
All right.
All right, so you can either loiter here for a couple hours or return after my sermon, and then we'll head that way.
Lorna nods.
She nods, and then she turns and heads back toward the temple. Did we just take a job to kill ghosts?
It's not really a job. It's more like a favor.
Do we have to
That's
report
right.
this one?
It's not a job. No.
All right, fine.
Not a job.
You
we
see
are doing. Hold on.
Okay.
We are doing charity, and there will just happen to be gold in our pockets afterward.
Nore just nods and, like, mocks pulling out a notebook and says, "Just a trade, not a job. Don't worry about it. Persh. Okay, handled."
The little thing, the quick pest control.
As you're talking, suddenly a voice appears in your mind. "Hello, Lorna. I have a package from Zurich Silva. It is a liar. Do you accept?"
Yes. She says out loud.
Suddenly, there is a poof of blue, like, smoke in front of you, and then there is a crate that is on the ground right in front of you.
Was it a big crate?
It's pretty big.
Ooh, how big is a liar?
Do you open the crate?
No. I just need to know if she can pick it up.
No. The crate is magical in nature. It cannot be moved.
So I have to open it here?
Yeah.
Okay, so she puts her hands on the crate and she looks at everyone and she's like, all right, meet back
What
here.
the fuck is that?
Afternoon. Don't question me. We'll meet back here in the afternoon. All right?
Oh.
I need you to stay and I need the rest of you to fuck off.
The rest of the party, like, looks around at each other.
I'll give you pocket money if it means you go.
All right. And Tier just, like, turns around and walks away. Anscombe says, "Okay. Skolna, you want to show me that trick?" And Skolna just nods. And the rest of the party leaves. Lilith, like, looking back at you with, like, a confused face and leaves.
She needs to accept that this is just what Lorna does. This is weird shit.
Nore is, like, leaning back, like, looking at you in the box. It's like, all right, so what the fuck is this about?
So, she's going to approach Nore and say, listen, I did something really thoughtless when I didn't invite you to come with us to the fish ritual.
Yeah?
I should have considered that you would have enjoyed that, and I'm sorry.
It's fine. I'm over it.
Well, I'm not, because I feel like a piece of shit. But, I had this made for you.
What?
And she goes to the crate and she lifts off the top. Hopefully it comes up.
Yeah, the top pops right off. You see a bundle of canvas.
She kind of gestures, like, for Nori, too.
Nori looks down and she says, "It looks like a tarp."
I mean, feel free to just assume that, or you could actually investigate.
All right. And she just leans down. She reaches into the crate. As soon as
Hooray, burlap!
she picks up the burlap package. As soon as she lifts it out of the crate vanishes. You do see a note, like, hanging off the burlap.
She's gonna just take that.
Okay.
What does it say?
It says
Or does it still have the price tag on it? You need to make sure you
no.
don't give
It
Jim
doesn't have a
the
price
price
tag. It says in Zurich's handwriting. It says, "Lorna, I apologize if this came a little too early. Things went smoothly. I hope it is what you
tag.
were looking for, Zurich."
I'll just stuff it in her pocket and like wait for Nori to open it.
Nori begins to pull the burlap away, and as soon as she sees like a corner of it, there's like a brass fitting over finely polished wood. That's like it's the contrast is very sharp because it seems like the wood is very darkly polished, like a very dark walnut. She sees it and she goes, "Oh!" And then she pulls like the burlap off a little far faster, and in her hands is a beautifully crafted lyre inscribed across the brass fittings all the way down where the strings line. It says, "Fury is a melody."
Mm-hmm.
And she like is looking at it and she feels its weight in her hands. This is beautiful.
Do you remember that pale dragon wormling or whatever? And it paralyzed your legs with stone, but then we killed it, and then you
Yeah,
were fine.
I remember. That was bullshit.
It's it's like vocal cords or the strings.
Oh. Ew. But she's like looking
Right?
at the strings are beautiful, so it doesn't look like they're a piece of a dragon. But she strums the lyre, and the note that it produces, while a little off tune, seems to pierce the air. You feel the resonance of the music cutting into your chest, and she's like, "Oh, I can work with this." And she's immediately like tweaking the screws at the top of the lyre, getting it into tune, and she says, "This is gorgeous.
I
Thank
just
thank you."
I just wanted to say that I was thoughtless recently, but I definitely think of you.
I see that. You're with Anscombe. So this isn't a romantic gift, right?
And she like completely flushed. I mean, I love all of you a lot.
She then thumps you on the shoulder and she says, "I'm
Ow.
kidding. It's a joke."
Would it have worked if it was a romantic gift?
No,
Would you be flattered? Oh.
but I am flattered. Does it do anything? Does it do anything weird or magic? And she begins to
Um,
like just pluck at the strings.
if I recall, no, it's just a very fine instrument because I don't think I could have afforded to enchant it. Uh,
That is the
so she'll say,
conversation we had.
yes. So she'll say, well, no, but it could be enchanted. It's of a quality that could hold an enchantment. So maybe think of what you might like it to do, and we can
Oh, I have
work something out.
so many ideas. And she just begins to play.
Hmm.
Like on the side of the road, she sits down on a stump and she just begins to play a long, slow ballad that fills the air remarkably rich. The lyre plays beautifully. It is. The craftsmanship is a work of art. Um, it seems like Zurich knows what he's doing. Um, and as she's playing, she just looks up at you and she says, "I think I'll just be here until it's the right time to go."
Okay. Does Lorna get the sense that she wants to be alone?
No.
Okay.
As soon as she said that, she just looks back down at the lyre and continues to play.
I think Lorna would situate herself, like not on top of her, obviously, but like nearby and just quietly work on her own wizardly duties.
Okay. You have a
And
bardic
just kind of have a
inspiration.
nice, ooh, a little quiet afternoon.
As you're working, roll me an investigation check.
Okay. Sure. I might add my bardic to this. I'm gonna have to because I rolled piss poor poopy pants. What's the
I
die?
believe it's a D10.
Nice. Come on. Yes. 18. Thank you, Nore.
While you're working on your parchments and in your spellbook and stuff, you reach into your pocket to pull out some more, perhaps ink or something. And as you do, that note from Zurich falls out, and you notice that there is a PS on the back of the note.
He reads it.
I was a little inspired, and so I added a little something. Don't mention it to Nore.
And it's in Zurich's handwriting still, you said?
Yeah.
Can she, she'll glance over at the lyre and, her eyes will flash gold. She's trying to take in the magical components of this, if it has magic.
There is magic on the lyre.
What's cool?
I believe this would be enchantment. Roll me an
Lorna looks
Arcana
back at the
check.
note. It says, "Don't tell Nore." It's like she's supposed to just keep this as a surprise because Lorna doesn't know what it does. 19.
Based on the school of magic and the nature in which it is inscribed into the lyre, you think this lyre perhaps enhances Nore's performances.
Oh. She gets the sense that maybe don't tell Nora is so she doesn't know she's being enhanced. Well, she'll just shrug and be like, "That was sweet. She needs to tip him." She will when she gets back. She's not in a position to do that. But she just kind of smiles to herself. She'll just keep that secret.
Okay. Time passes, and eventually, after an hour and a half, you see your party coming up the road.
Mm-hmm.
You also notice, when you look up, other people, other townsfolk, are not gathered around you guys, but it seems as though they found places off the road to listen to Nore playing. They're discreet about it. They're not staring at her, and she doesn't have a hat out to busk. She just seems to be a person playing a lyre, and it seems like this is the sort of thing that folks of Siren's Respite don't see often. So they're listening, and Nore rolled a 25 on performance. So it's beautiful music.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Your group is approaching, and as they do, Tier, the one who with the best perception, says, "Where'd that come from? I think I would have noticed that hanging about." And Nore just glances up. "Oh, it was a gift." Tier, narrows his eyes at Nore, and then over at you.
Lorna looks so smug.
"Well, it's pretty." Nore just nods and continues playing. She's just looking at the lyre. She's not looking at any of them.
Is she doing that because she's really pleased with the lyre, or because she's snubbing Tier?
Insight check.
Oh boy. 23.
She doesn't really seem to be giving much of the party any attention at all.
Okay, so it's not a personal slight. She's just...
No, she seems to just be enjoying the lyre.
That's great. Well, Lorna's immensely pleased.
So, eventually, you guys kind of gather up again. And then suddenly, another 30 minutes pass, and then you see lots of people suddenly emerge from the temple just up the road. You get the impression that the sermon just ended.
Mm-hmm. All right, the group will idle, waiting for Mira to join them, I'm sure.
An unfortunate side effect of a bard playing a lyre with such a high performance check is a crowd does form soon after. And when it becomes so dense that lots of people are around, Nore looks up and says, oh, sorry everyone. No show, just practicing. And she puts the lyre on her back. And the crowd of townsfolk kind of frown, and some of them kind of mutter. But most of them are Oh, that was really good. That was like everyone's like just impressed, and then they just kind of go about their day. And Norrie
Like those
just
viral videos where you're like in a public space and then someone walks up with like a cello and just starts playing.
yeah, except they walked up to her while she was playing. It was like the other way
Yeah.
around. Um, as that happens, eventually, like a few minutes later, after the crowd is largely dispersed, Mira is wearing armor. She has
Oh,
kitted
yes,
herself out.
ready to go.
She's wearing scale mail with a large emblazoned symbol of Melisandre across the chest, and she has a maul across her back. This great fuck-ass big hammer. And as she's approaching, she says, "So were you the one that had that nice and pleasant background music during my sermon? Because that was audible through the open doors." And Norrie just, like, frowns and says, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't think about that. No, it's fine. If you were worse, I would have come out and yelled at you, but it was nice music." And Norrie just kind of sheepishly nods, and Mira says, "Come along then. We have a house to investigate." And she makes her way down the road. Are there any conversations or anything you want to do on your way to Arlo's house?
I will say, Lorna doesn't brag about the gift, but it looks like she wants to. There's a little skip in her step. She's just very pleased that Nori likes it. So it's super obvious that she wants to be like, "Did you see it? Isn't it amazing?"
I think the only one who notices is Tier. And he just says, like, after you've been walking for 5 minutes, he goes, "Shut up."
I didn't say anything.
Yeah, right. Body language is pretty loud. And then he
In
tries to
response to
trip
that,
you.
wow. Okay. Do I have to make a check save?
Yes.
Oh no.
He's,
Oh, I rolled really well.
he rolled a...
19.
You have to beat a 14, so you succeed. You stumble briefly, but you don't trip.
Mm-hmm. Nori. Lorna looks back and says, "Nori's been training me."
Right. I'll have to try harder next time.
There's a little look of dread on her face. Like, please don't. She will eat it. Eat shit.
He does not push the issue. But he does notice that you are very...
She's a smug little bastard.
Yeah. Like, he's like, "Can't you just do a nice thing without being a cunt about it?"
Nope. Not even a little bit.
And so, you kind of get away from the main proper side of Siren's Respite, and you get out into what is mostly describable as, like, farmland. Large swaths of land that are not true farms, but they're basically broad vegetable gardens that separate homes. So there's a whole lot of what's clearly tilled fields, but they're not plowed and tilled by, like, a horse. They're pretty small, so you imagine these were likely just managed by a person or two. And the houses themselves, these homesteads, are pretty far apart from each other, with long dirt pathways up to how you get to the homes. And after you pass a few of them, you're getting over to the wide side of Siren's Lagoon, where it stops being so cultivated and it becomes more foresty. And right once you get to where the trees are more densely packed, there is a cottage nestled within them. It seems well cared for, but not in very good repair. So it's clean. It looks like the porch is dusted and the windows are all very, very clean and maintained. But
Not something I'd expect from Mr. Crazy Pants.
well, it's in disrepair. You notice the roof is damaged from, like, it looks like a tree fell on it and has not been repaired yet. Lots of the boards that make the patio and the deck are missing or cracked. It looks like someone cares about this place, but they don't have the money or the means to fix it. The front door is closed. And there is a large dog that is just kind of sitting. It was laying on the patio, but as you guys were approaching, it just sat up and looked at you all.
Still elbow here. Hey, Ranger.
Yeah?
Dog.
good eye.
I don't know. Tell it we're friends.
Tier looks at the dog and says, "Aye, we're friends. Oh, did you want me to use, like, natural magic here?"
Or, I don't know, give it a biscuit and tell it he's a good boy.
Right, okay. Could you do it without being condescending, please? I will do my job.
She, like, does, like, a little bow, like, after you.
Right, I'll need a Lear in apology for this as well, if you don't mind.
Do you know how to play a Lear?
No. And he, like, begins to approach the patio. And Mira says, "Oh, it's all right. That's just old Basket. He's not gonna..." Basket. He's not gonna...
Amazing.
You just have to give him... Do you have any meat on you? And Tier stops, and he looks in his ration pack, and he pulls out, like, a big wad of venison jerky, and he's like, "Yeah, Basket." He seems very confused by that name, but I'm gonna roll animal handling for Tier. He rolled a 26.
Good God. Rangers.
The dog, immediately sensing a kindred spirit, its tail begins to wag. It's like this big, old sheepdog, like a border collie, and as he approaches, Basket takes the jerky from him and just, like, immediately lays down on the dirt and just, like, starts eating the jerky right where he was. And Tia says, "Oh, good Basket." And he begins, like...
Lorna will look at the rest of the party and say, "Did you see how the ranger disarmed that great beast?"
"I'm impressed. If only all our problems were as easy as calling it Basket and giving it jerky." "That's its name." "Of course. I don't mean to belittle you." And Inscom just kind of, like, leans back. Mira says, "Now, I don't exactly have the key to this place, but that is what you adventurers are for, right?"
Lorna looks at Skolna.
Skolna just, like, looks at the house and then back at the halfling and quirks an eyebrow. She shrugs and then begins walking up to the front door. She stops when she approaches the front door, and then she looks back with a confused look on her face.
Is it trapped?
She nods.
She'll approach to where Skolna's standing and magic eyes activate. Is it magical or does it look like...
It's a mundane trap.
Alright. That's interesting.
I just didn't expect it.
No, I didn't either.
It's a guy's house out in the woods. Why is it trapped? She shrugs and she leans down and she begins the process of disarming what is a razor wire trap.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What if the dog set it off? What the hell, Arlo? Guess the dog is trained not to go up there.
It didn't go up there when you were approaching.
Huh.
It just takes a moment. She disarms the spring that controls the razor wire trap, and then she, like, pulls out from the nook in the wood a spool of razor sharp wire that she then sets to the side. And then she looks back, and she doesn't say anything. But Mira looks at her and she says, "What? What was it?" And then Skolna looks at you.
The razor wire trap. How high was it set to be?
Ankle height.
Ooh, that would have been nasty had it gone off.
Mira looks confused. That's odd.
I mean, maybe he's paranoid.
That's... razor wire doesn't affect ghosts? Is it silver?
Doesn't.
And
Lorna hands it over.
no, it is not. It looks like just iron razor wire. And she looks at it. Huh.
You've known Arlo longer than I have, for certain. Would he have the skills to set a trap like this?
He's a fisherman by trade. They have lots of skills, from running ships and the like and waving nets and such. I imagine if he had the motivation to, he could. But why the
He was
motivation?
motivated.
I don't
Precisely.
understand. She slowly unhooks the maul from her back.
Yeah.
Maybe
Is
everyone
Skolna?
be ready.
Oh yeah, Lorna is ready. Is Skolna doing the door?
No, she has paused and is waiting for you guys to come to
Oh
a
yeah.
conclusion.
So yes, proceed.
She does. She leans down to the door, um, and she begins to pick it, and she stops.
Is that trap too?
She nods.
Like Lorna looks back at Mira. This is a lot.
Yes. Yeah, it is. There might be more going on here than just ghosts. Because why would he secure his house so tightly? Be careful, obviously. I may have to bump your pay, depending on what we find. And Skolna
Lorna grins at Skolna. All right, you
just,
heard her.
she just nods. She works to disarm that trap. And she does. As soon as she finishes, she removes from the corner of the door a black powder trap.
He was willing to blow up the front of his house to keep intruders out.
Skolna just like sets that carefully to the side.
Maybe keep that.
She shrugs and then puts it away.
Mm-hmm.
And
Free
then
black powder.
she will resume unlocking the door. Okay. Skolna picks the lock, and it takes longer than you've ever seen it take Skolna to pick a lock. Which is just to say, instead of it being immediately opened, it takes like 10 seconds.
And normally I don't even see Skolna pick locks. They're just unlocked when I get there.
Yeah. This actually, like, it requires some finessing. You actually see she has to get a different tool out of her, like, leather spool of tools. After a moment of consternation, she gets the door open, but then she stands up and she looks at you. Copper mask.
What do you mean? There's a mark?
She shakes her head, but she, like, gestures to the door lock.
Uh-huh.
Professional lock. Copper mask.
Lorna looks back at Mira.
I don't know what that means. This is all beyond me now, okay?
I mean, criminal grade lock.
Right. Okay.
Do you think he's part of it or is working with criminals?
She frowns. If he's part of something criminal, that's nothing I knew about.
For how long he's lived here? Decades, you said.
Oh, longer than me, that's for sure.
Well, he obviously thinks there's something to protect here. So we're going to follow Skolna's lead on where to step.
She nods. And as Skolna slowly slides the door open, she looks in. I have to make a roll for Skolna.
Lorna is also coasting for anything magical, but it seems like this guy is more manual than magical.
Yeah, where are you in reference to Skolna? Are you like right behind her?
Like, yes, like right at her elbow. She's not moving forward until Skolna says so.
I need a dex save from you and Skolna.
Oh, jeez. Watch, be amazed as I blow up. Oh, that's a great roll. That's a 4. I'm gonna add my Vicar boon to that.
Okay.
Just, so I don't die. I rolled almost max. So it's a 13 instead of a 4.
That's a failure.
Great.
Skolna also failed with a natural 1.
What?
So both of
Is
you...
she not a level?
She has evasion.
Is she not a level? Okay,
no,
okay.
I think she has evasion.
She's level 7, she should.
Well, I'm looking.
Unless she is multi-class and I didn't know
She did not multi-class. She does have evasion. So, what happens is, she still takes half damage. Here's what happens. You're having this conversation with Mira, and Skolna, believing she's gotten all the traps, turns the knob and opens the door. And as she pushes it in, both of you hear this faint little ting at the top of the door. The next thing you hear is 2 of mounted crossbows loosing their arrows.
Oh no.
You take 19 points of piercing damage.
Ugh.
Skolna having it takes 9.
Where does the crossbow go in?
It's aimed at chest level for an adult male, so it hits you right here, like right at the shoulder.
Ow. Yeah, she goes flying back.
Seeing this, Mira surges forward and she says, "What in the 9? Oh, by Our Lady's grace!" And she just reaches out and she immediately heals both of you. And she looks up. In this cottage, immediately inside the door, you see crates, and a lot of them. You also hear, very quietly, you hear somebody go, "Shh." And that is where we're going to stop.
No! What did I heal for?
Oh, I'm sorry, you heal for 14.
Alright, that's almost a full. Ow! Arlo's a dick. Or the criminal's hiding in his cottage are a dick. Where did it get Skolna?
Same place. But she managed to dodge, so it was more of a grazing blow for her.
She's also shorter than me.
That's true. She took half the damage you took, but you were both healed for 14, so Skolna's back to full. As that happens, that's where we're going to come to the end of the session.
How did you do that to me?
I don't know. Intrigue and danger. Thank you for playing with me tonight. I hope you had a good time. And to those of you who are at home or at work listening, we love you. Hi, Pen.
Emily,
class, Kala, everybody. We love you all.
everyone.
And I wish you a good night.